What's going on, you guys? This is Mike Hilario, aka Slim, here on Team FTK's channel. Here to bring you guys my 23rd place Arcana Force 21 The World FTK/OTK deck profile. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and make sure you subscribe to my boys here at Team FTK. They were kind enough to ask me to feature my deck. Even though I didn't top the regional, I was one win away. I ended up going 7-2 at the end of 9 rounds, and yeah, I played Arcana the World. It was pretty crazy, but I'm just going to give you guys my deck profile real quick. So the win condition of the deck is, of course, Arcana 21 The World and Light Barrier. Whenever this card is summoned, you flip a coin. Heads, you skip your opponent's turn. Tails, they add the top card of their graveyard to their hand. And Light Barrier basically makes it so that as long as you have this card on the field, whenever you summon an Arcana, you call the coin flip automatically, so you just automatically call heads. And at the end phase, you just send two monsters. You just send 2 monsters to the graveyard per the world's effect. Skip your opponent's turn. Next turn, they skip their turn. Attack for game. So it's pretty cool. Just kind of an alternate win strategy in a sense. And the reason why the deck was so consistent and so powerful was that we got to play Dangers, and we played a lot of them. We played the base 9, the 3 Nessie, the 3 Jackalope, the 3 Snake. They all guarantee a monster pretty much, so those are the best ones you could play. The 4s were also extremely important, the 3 Chupacabra and the 3 Mothman. This helps you make your Azathoth, your Nyarla and Azathoth, which basically said your opponent could not hand trap you while you're drawing through your whole deck. It's kind of similar to the Slash Draw FTK and the Danger FTK in a sense that you want to go unopposed while you're comboing, and it takes a while too, because you're just trying to RNG through all your Saryujas and just get to your win condition, which is the world. And if you have Light Barrier, that's even better because it's pretty much guaranteed. I also played some 8s. I played 2 Bigfoot, 2 Thunderbird, and 2 Ogopogo. I was going to max out on these, but then I realized I wanted a clean 40 card count at the end, and I basically cut a copy of each and some extra cards. But these cards were all good. I played trading in my deck, so it just helps me turbo through the deck, and it was really solid. They all have pretty good effects, especially with Twin Twister and stuff. And going second, these cards are nuts because Ogopogo is a Foolish Burial. This pops a face down, this pops a face up, and they're huge. So really, really solid. That was my danger count. Then the support cards were the 3 Brow, just really good card to discard off Dangers. You draw cards with it, it's so good. The 1 Sky Blaster, I saw this card a lot. I mean, when you're drawing through your whole deck, it's not hard to, draw into like certain cards, and that's pretty much it. Whenever I had this card, it just made extra Saryujas and made extra Link monsters. It just did a lot. I think this card is great even at 1, especially in this deck. And 1 Blackwing Zephyros the Elite. This card's really good. Being able to reuse your Dangers is insane. Being able to bounce the world back if you summoned it early, because sometimes you do summon world early and you just try to get lucky, because I did flip a coin a lot, and there were times that I did hit tails, and you never want to end on tails. So what you do is you bounce the world back to your hand with Zephyros, and then resummon it with another Saryuja, and you try again. So it's pretty solid. And then the Shaddoll Beast, because it's like another Brow, just helps you draw cards. People aren't sure with Brow and Shaddoll Beast, say you reveal a Danger and say they hit either the Beast or the Brow instead of the Danger. You summon the Danger, you draw a card, then the effect of Brow and the effect of Shaddoll Beast engraved lets you draw an additional card. So it's kind of like drawing 2. It's kind of like Pot of Greed, so pretty cool. On to the spells, you guys already saw Light Barrier, but this broken card called Beginning of the End, which says draw 3. We have 27 out of 28 dark monsters in our deck. This card says if you have 7 or more darks, banish 5, draw 3. So you can use, and it's not once per turn, so you just draw through your whole deck. It's pretty nice. 3 Allure, just turbo through the deck more. And 2 Trade-In, this was the card that made my deck a little different. No Danger strategy has really played Trade-In yet, and what I really like about this card is that it of course, going second with the Dangers, it's pretty cool because it lets you draw cards, lets you get effects off, but mostly because the world is also an 8 for people who don't know. So trading in the world is fine because you can reborn it later, so that helps a lot when you open it early, because it doesn't really help if you open the world early and don't have a way to summon it. It kind of just sits dead in your hand, or it's going to get sniped for Dangers, so trading it in is pretty nice. And then the reborn cards in World, Legacy, Succession, and Reborn, this is self-explanatory. You reborn the world, flip a coin, you get head, you're skipping your opponent's turn as long as you got the 2 monsters to send, which you usually do since all your Dangers are a bunch of monsters, so pretty solid. These cards are really good. These cards are also really good when going second because they just put more monsters on the board to attack for game. And then the 1 card Destruction that should never have came off the ban list, because this card is ridiculous. It didn't get Ash the entire tournament, so this card is just ridiculous. This plus Dangers is like playing Dark Worlds back in the day. Card Destruction was auto game, and it almost feels the same way with this card. So yeah, that was my deck. It was a clean 40. Extra deck real quick. The main card you make all the time, triple star YuGiOh. This card is still at 3. We're going to play 3. It just lets you draw through your whole deck. It's ridiculous. Lets you special summon cards. I don't know how the cards survive the ban list. Along with one Curious, this card's really good. It fuels beginning of the end. It can send World to the graveyard if you already have the Reborn cards to just try and win the game right there. Milling 3 darks is pretty cool. Usually that's what happens because statistically speaking, since we run 27 darks, usually you're gonna hit at least 1 or 2 darks when you mill with Curious, and even if you mill the spells, it's fine. It fuels beginning of the end, like I said, and just thins your deck by even more cards, so it's pretty solid. Then Nyarla and Azathoth, this is really good. Going first or second, you're able to play these cards because going first, your opponent can't use any hand traps, it can't use any monster effects. Going second, you just go into a negate board and just blanket the whole board, so it's pretty solid. Link monsters, 1 Link spiders for the Sky Blaster tokens. Then you have the Space Insulator, just other good Link utility, also a dark for beginning of the end, so very solid. Then probably the best card in my extra deck when going second was Witch's Apprentice. It's generic in this deck because we play so many darks. It just takes 2 dark monsters and it boosts all my dark monsters by 500. So basically all my Bigfoots, my Thunderbirds are all over 3,000 when they attack. So you're just putting a bunch of monsters on the board and just attacking for game. So it's pretty solid. Then the Nightmares, we play Cerebus, Phoenix, Unicorn, and Griffin. We play all of them. They all have good versatility. Discarding dangers off of them is pretty nice because you draw a card, you get effects in graveyards. It's pretty solid. Griffin is also for some of the cards we play in our side deck when we're forced to go first, and if they let us go first, we're able to just set up a Curious Griffin lock, so it's pretty nice. And then I rounded out with the 2 Borals. I didn't summon this once during the tournament, but I summoned Boral Sword the very last game on the very last turn of Swiss, and it won me the game because I just attacked for game with it, so it's pretty solid. Especially going second, this card is just really important. Side real quick, tokens. Field Center, Johnny's never getting back. And we got 3 Lancia. This is like the God card against Orcus. This just skips their turn basically, and you usually can just OTK them at that point. It's also blankets against Danger Thunder Dragon and any deck that banishes. You can even use it against Gem Knight FTK because some people are still playing that deck, so card's still really solid. Will definitely be a staple in every side deck going forward, this format with Orcus being so prevalent. 2 Denko and 2 Prankatops. I was maxing out on these, but I cut them to 2s because I pretty much see my whole deck since I'm drawing so many cards on my one turn that I felt like having extra copies of these just kind of hinders me. It doesn't let me progress my game state at all. So having 2 Denko and 2 Prankatops is fine. Prankatops was insane. I think it's one of the most versatile side deck cards because you can side it in against anything and it will have an application. So I really like it. And then the 1 Sphere mode, I ended up cutting 1 Sphere mode. I had 2 originally and went for the 3rd Lancia. Shout out to my boy Derek. He gave me that idea because Lancia is just so high impact against Orcus, and Sphere mode actually never came up. I sided it in a couple times, but I just didn't need it. My opponents didn't put 3 monsters on the board, so it basically got sniped by dangers, and I just kept playing and eventually just cleared the board. So card was fine though, especially if you know you're playing against a lot of Thunder Dragon decks or decks that put up at least 3 negates. Spells, got 3 twin. This plus dangers is ridiculous. Something always happens. This plus Bigfoot is pop 3. This plus Thunderbird is pop 3. It's just really good against back row decks. 2 anti-spell in the Imperial Order. This was what the Griffin was for mostly. So realistically, you draw through your whole deck, depending going first or second. Usually going second, you don't draw as many cards because you're not really making Star Yuja going second. Going second, you're just trying to put a bunch of monsters up and attack for game. But this was the alternate win condition. If we go first in game 3 and we have the world and we don't get to that combo, or things just don't add up, being able to have anti-spell or Imperial Order against Striker or against any of these spell decks, Pendulum, stuff like that, is just really solid. So it was just another kind of way to floodgate them out and win the game. And then I just side deck Dweller. It was my 15th side deck card. I wasn't sure what to side deck, and the theory with this was same thing in game 3. If we don't get to the combo to basically OTK them with the world to where they don't get a turn, we would just end on Dweller. Like say we got hand trapped, we'd end on Dweller. Basically the same thing. They don't really get to play because Dweller hurts solid so much, and then after that we just attack for game. So that was the strategy with that. But that's it, you guys. That's the deck profile. Again, shout out to Team FTK for featuring my deck. Make sure you subscribe to them. Really appreciate them wanting to cover this deck. This deck is completely viable right now in this format. No one really knows what it does. It is a little expensive with the dangers, and I mean, like I said, it should warrant the reason why YuGiOh should probably be at any number that is not 3. I think the card should definitely be at 1. I don't know if the card is worthy to be banned, but maybe after seeing this deck, they'll think about it. And I know everyone wants the dangers hit in some shape or form. It'll happen eventually, but for the time being able to play all these upstart goblins, I play 21 dangers in my deck, 3 beginning of the end, 3 allure. Like, you're basically drawing the entire deck almost every game, and I mean, it's just kind of crazy. Plus, you're putting free monsters on the board for link climbage, and being able to just, like I said, draw into with multiple cards with YuGiOh is nuts. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Hopefully you support the guys here on the channel. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know, and visit me over on my channel, SimplySlimYGO, and I'll be sure to answer your questions. Hope you guys enjoyed. Give it a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.